This is Luke Paulson, the Catholic Conservative, and welcome to the news of the week for September 21st, 2024. And if you enjoy these videos, do not forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe for more. Another assassination attempt. 3 months ago, President Trump was nearly killed. Now someone tried again.
Once is happenstance, twice is coincidence, but 3 times is enemy action.
There are some things that we know for sure. 1, the game of golf was not on President Trump's calendar. 2, the shooter wanted to build a civilian army for Ukraine. 3, the shooter was an Act Blue donor and a Brandon supporter. These are the facts. Now, it is possible that the shooter just got lucky or predicted where President Trump would be. However, we cannot rule out that there is a mole in the Secret Service. Last time, the shooter was on a roof with a perfect line of sight that was not secured. And this time, the person set up on the golf course. Liberals have been calling President Trump the reincarnation of Hitler for years. For no good reason. Not a single decent person alive today denies that if there was another Hitler that he should be killed. The problem is that if you follow Godwin's law, eventually every political enemy is Hitler. The number of times that mainstream pundits, celebrities, and liberal politicians have called for President Trump to be killed are more numerous than I choose to count. Furthermore, we now know that, like the Georgia shooter from the other week, according to the Wall Street Journal, the authorities knew about the potential shooter. To add insult to injury, the fake news started by calling this latest assassination attempt an incident and blame President Trump for the potential assassination. The people such as cackling Kamala.
If you had to be stuck in an elevator with either President Trump, Mike Pence, or Jeff Sessions, who would it be? Does one of us have to come out alive?
Who suggested that he should be killed are somehow not responsible. Know this fact. They will try again soon. More out of Ohio. J.D. Vance is from Ohio. According to him, he is just repeating what his constituents told him. When President Trump ran for the first time, he told us that these countries were not sending their best, but criminals. Skip forward to the present day and we have Tren de Aragua. President Trump was right. Now he and his running mate have claimed that the Haitian migrants are eating the dogs and cats. As of the writing of this script, Vance has not backed off of his initial claims. Now the Attorney General of Ohio is looking into the migrant crisis. A city of 58,000 swelled by 1/3. Sounds to me like the illegals who are dropped off by the Biden administration by military aircraft. The city manager and other officials have every reason to lie about the crimes by these illegals. They have said that these crimes are not happening, making them unreported. Speaking of unreported crimes. According to the New York Post, 75% of arrests in Midtown are from these migrants. Additionally, we now know that nationally, not all crimes are even reported. Since New York let these people in, there is no incentive to admit that these people are the ones causing the problem. After all, these people need to be there so that they can get driver's licenses so that they can vote Democrat. When the ABC moderators fact-checked President Trump to say that crime was down, they did not mention this. They also did not bother to mention Tren de Aragua. The fact remains that all of these illegals came and our border czar did nothing. Speaking of the border czar, endorsement. An odd endorsement. Dick Cheney has officially endorsed cackling Kamala. Now why would a neocon, a member of the Republican establishment, and the brains behind the pointless invasions of the Middle East, want to endorse cackling Kamala? Simply put, he is a warmonger and is probably still getting donations from Boeing and the rest of the military-industrial complex. As such, without as many wars, he is not making as much on his secondary investment. People like cackling Kamala want to go to war in every other country. Thus, he considers her a kindred spirit. Recall that the latest would-be assassin wanted a civilian army to defend Ukraine. The people who want to take out President Trump want us to go to war. The people who support cackling Kamala want us to go to war. Also remember that during his tenure, the liberal media basically made him out to be the devil and the next Hitler, just like they are now doing to President Trump.
Coincidence? I think not!
Put these two politicians together and you have a deadly combination. Now let us move away from militaristic warfare to spiritual warfare. More than just Pope Francis. Pope Francis has recently come under attack for saying that all religions lead to heaven. To be honest, I do not care to fact-check if those were his exact words anymore. The fact remains that he probably said something so similar that I could only defend him by arguing semantics. However, the problem is not just with the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church is the highest steeple in the land, and lightning always strikes the highest steeple first. Moving on, we know that it is not just Pope Francis. Ministers and preachers across the country have been moving to New Age religions. We have already seen what happened in the Methodist Church. The fact remains that just like the kings and Levites of the Old Testament, we are seeing a great falling away. Is this the great falling away that Jesus prophesied would happen in the end times? I do not know for sure. I do know that the main point of focus is on Pope Francis because he is a big target. However, let us rise above the politics of this world and go to space. Spacewalk for rich people. SpaceX produced new spacesuits, and for the first time in human history, civilians use them on a spacewalk. We are at the dawn of a new age. We have come a long way from NASA building a new shuttle every time that they want to go into space, as opposed to the reusable shuttles that SpaceX created. While we will not be going to Mars anytime soon, it is much faster with the free market than with the government.
They gave us money and facilities. We didn't have to produce anything. You've never been out of college. You don't know what it's like out there. I've worked in the private sector. They expect results.
The fact remains that Musk is doing a good job. Of course, a lot of liberals are attacking Musk. However, these same people did not attack him before he tried to buy up shares in Twitter. After all, before that, he was not a threat. Before that, he was a good Democrat. He did not speak out much about the lies of the Democratic Party. Speaking of which, Clinton calls for lock her up. Hillary Clinton was so obsessed with being coronated as the first woman president that she was willing to do anything to win. When it was clear that she was not doing well and more people resonated with then candidate Trump, she hatched a plan. She and her campaign created the Steele dossier. Even the liberal media understands that her campaign created the dossier. Now there's a legal doctrine known as fruit of the poisonous tree. It basically states that if there is a warrant based on false evidence, anything obtained from it cannot be used in court. By that standard, every persecutor,
Don't you mean prosecutor? No!
has to stand down and leave President Trump alone regarding Russia. Granted, we have seen that they will also make up charges, but that is another topic for another day. Most recently, Clinton has called for people who spread fake news to be charged civilly and perhaps criminally. This means that she should be charged herself. However, as a Clinton, she will never be charged, even if her campaign created a deep fake in California. Memes are illegal. Gavin Newsom signed 3 bills into law making it illegal to share something online knowing that it was manipulated with AI. Recall that over in Britain they are probably still arresting people for posting about the rioting illegals, while not arresting those who take advantage of women. To make the California situation more ridiculous, nuisance should not even have to make these laws. Cackling Kamala was not only the border czar, but she was also the AI czar. In this case, I guess it is a good thing that she did not do her job. Either way, as in California, so will be America. But speaking of overall decay of society, German energy destroyed. The most powerful source of clean energy is nuclear energy. Germany decided to go with green energy and literally blew up its nuclear reactors. For reasons. They are now finding out that if they had just left these plants operating, not only would more power have been produced by now, but they would have saved countless euros. The fact remains that what comes out of these smokestacks is steam, and the waste is locked away in barrels so strong that a car going at full speed would at worst compromise its integrity. Other sources claim that these barrels could survive being hit by a train. The fact remains that if these barrels are so strong, the waste is harmless to those on the outside. Either way, these barrels are underground away from cars and trains. Since this energy is safe, why would this not be used for power? All of the plants were already in operation. The green movement is just getting pathetic. Just like most of the policies and supporters of the Democratic Party, losing a voting bloc. Unions, not necessarily union members, were one of the main reasons that Brandon won last time. He won the support of the post office, and President Trump won the support of the police officers and Border Patrol. The Union Teamsters, for the first time in 30 years, has not endorsed a Democratic candidate. According to their internal data, this amalgamation of blue and white-collared workers was divided. 59.6% voted to support the man who wants to make America great again, and 34% voted to support the communist. As such, the union has not taken an official position. President Trump brought jobs back to America with things such as the Keystone XL pipeline. Brandon and the Democrats brought jobs to the Middle East and regulated jobs out of existence over here. Is it any wonder why the majority voted for President Trump? While this is bad news for cackling Kamala, there is even worse news for her from an ABC whistleblower. Kamala Controls ABC. An ABC whistleblower wrote an affidavit which holds the same threat of perjury as someone who lies on the witness stand. According to this whistleblower, ABC agreed that they would not give any questions to cackling Kamala about her time as a prosecutor.
I want to bring the conversation back to the broken criminal justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting Black and brown people all across this country today. Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
They also agreed not to bring up questions about Brandon's age, although President Trump did bring it up. After answering the question that one of his opponents raised about Ukraine, he said,
"Yourself, David. We're playing with World War III, and we have a president that we don't even know if he's... Where is our president? We don't even know if he's a president.
And just to clarify
they threw him out of a campaign like a dog. We don't even know. Is he our president? But we have a president,
Mr. President,
that doesn't know he's alive."
Your time is up.
Said opponent cut President Trump off because they agreed with cackling Kamala not to talk about that. Then he circled back to a topic that they were allowed to talk about. Also, it was agreed that President Trump would be subjected to fact-checking, but not cackling Kamala. This was plainly obvious. Some outlets are saying that this could go before Congress. The whistleblower also claims to have audio tapes. Now, ABC, instead of saying that all of this is bogus and suing him for libel, they simply claim that they followed all the rules that were agreed to by both campaigns. If the whistleblower was lying, this would be an open and shut case. The fact that they are not denying it almost guarantees that he is telling the truth. It will be interesting to see what happens next. Maybe I'm just blowing smoke. Maybe I'm completely off my rocker, but that is just my opinion. And do not forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe for more. But before you go, on the left I have last week's video, but you may also enjoy the video on the right.